Hello, IGN. My name is Jose Otero. I'm here with Brendan Graeber.
What's up?
And we are doing a rewind theater for everyone's anticipated Mario game so far on the books for this year.
Oh, yeah.
Mario Maker.
I can't
If you're unfamiliar with Mario Maker, Brendan, what is the pitch?
Mario Maker is make your own Mario levels.
Which is something that people have wanted for years. And Nintendo's actually making that happen with this game. Now, I'm letting this play for a second. You may have seen this during the Nintendo Direct, but let's go back for a second and make some observations. So first one really quick. If you know Super Mario Brothers, which initially came out in 1985, you know that the cloud sprite at the top usually doubles as a bush sprite on the ground.
Magic.
So far, there are no bush sprites I have seen yet.
Yeah.
Now, Brendan was saying you make your own Mario levels. You can swap between different Mario art styles, but what begs the question, and what we want to show you with this Rewind Theater, is what happens to things that weren't in the original game? Because Mario, like any good series, has built and added characters and sort of elements. For example, there is the famous Boo Ghost. So that
he
was
debuted in 3, right?
It was either 3 or World, but I know it was probably 3. But
yeah.
There was no Boo, ladies and gentlemen, in the original Super Mario Brothers.
We're getting Back to the Future here.
Nintendo rewriting history for you. Also, I don't think the Koopa shell spun in the original either.
No, they just had a straight run.
Yeah, it just flew straight. So these are little tweaks and changes we've noticed because we're 30 or close to 30 and have played the heck out of these games. So the next one that I noticed, hey Brendan, was there a Wiggler?
I don't believe so.
In the original? Okay, so let's see what happens. And
I believe he debuted in Super Mario.
Oh my God, a Wiggler
Whoa!
in Super Mario art style,
and a giant thwomp.
And a giant thwomp. Now, a reminder for folks: thwomps, I believe, first appeared in Super Mario Bros. 3. So you may have seen us pass one by, and actually, I'm not going to go all the way back there to find it, but that wasn't out of the ordinary. Ooh,
and Bowser
I wonder if how much Bowser changes. And right now, we don't know, but we can assume it's probably a lot.
Yeah, because especially
New Super Mario Brothers, he's got the red mane going on and all that. Yeah,
he gets a lot bigger. So I wonder how they're going to change the hitboxes on him.
Also true. All right. Anything else out of the ordinary?
There was
here?
one we passed, the Hammer Bro.
Oh yes. Did we pass it?
Yeah, he was.
Or was that in a later portion?
Was it in a later portion?
I thought it was in a later portion.
No, yeah,
let's keep going. All right. So you've seen all this. 30th anniversary. That's quite a milestone. Even though it feels like we're always talking about these things.
I know.
Yeah, it's been 5 years since the last one. Yep.
I feel so old.
Stop it. And you're seeing some block patterns, some changes. POW blocks. The original Mario Bros. Is going to have POW blocks. So let's talk about this UI, which some things have been said, and I think this is a more complete look at the UI than we've ever had before. You're a big fan of Mario Paint.
I love Mario Paint.
Okay, so why don't you tell some folks what's going on here? Like, for example, what is this? Was this robot icon a Mario Paint thing?
The robot was. It was actually how you kind of saved and loaded and imported your colorings and your other things that you could do in the game.
Okay, so hang on to that, folks. We're going to come back to the robot icon. The eraser icon was from Mario Paint?
That was actually...
Huh?
Yeah, that's the eraser icon. And then at the bottom, we have the rocket ship, which in Mario Paint, it would launch. And as it launched, a line would go with it, and it would wipe the whole area.
So you could take your whole level out, nuke the whole thing with this rocket.
It's true. And then next to him is the dog, which is actually called the Undo Dog.
It has a name.
It has a name. And it appeared both in Mario Paint and in WarioWare.
Okay, well, there you go. Then over at the bottom, you've already seen we have a start to goal, S&G. Obviously, whoever's making this level is not showing the entire thing. There's a frog icon on the left, which speculative, but probably controls
music, I think, and you could choose from different music presets. At least that was the icon, I believe, in Mario Paint.
And right above that is background tiles, what you can imagine. Like, that looks like a standard Mario hill. You're probably choosing between different backgrounds, which include Bowser's Castle, insert background idea here. They're very careful with how many backgrounds they've shown. Obviously, you're going to have a wide palette. I would be very shocked to find out that that's not the case. So let's keep looking around. This is just a quick fast forward of a level being made. As you know, you drop in the elements. It's super useful UI. I love that pipes can tilt.
Oh yeah.
Because you rarely, first of all, in the original Mario Bros, no pipes were tilted. But secondly, the fact that I think in like Super Mario World was one of the first games I remember that had tilted pipes. That you came
tilted
in
pipes,
and
then the ability to run up a pipe if you had the right thing there.
Oh, power-ups, you say. I wonder how this game's going to address those, but we'll get to that. Like right now, they only show a mushroom and a fire flower and a invincibility star, standard stuff. We know what those do.
You can pop into the question blocks.
You can pop them into the question block, just like you can pop a question over to Nintendo Voice Chat, the podcast that has a question block segment every week. Not every week, every other week, or we try to. All right, so let's look at everything that's happening here. First of all, the Wiggler returns right there. We see him on the platform, same as Mario. I love the drop shadow. The drop shadow effect for the 8-bit characters. You may have noticed it in NES Remix on any of the remix stages. It's been a thing. I don't really remember any other implementation of a Mario platformer that had that drop shadow quality. I could be mistaken. If you know one, leave it in the comments.
On the left it's Shane Chop, and on the right you can see the Hammer Bro, and he was not in the original. He didn't appear till I think.
Well, not the Hammer Brother right here. Absolutely was in the first Mario Brothers.
We're going to the
he
next
was
one.
Missing from. Well, let's look how the UI changes too. So UI across the top, we see the ground and block element change right next to the question block, but the rest of the icons stay the same for the most part.
He was not in World.
So there, Brendan's making the argument there was not a Hammer Brother in Super Mario World.
You can even see how different he looks compared to the other Koopas.
Yep, he does look really strange. And you can put wings on him. I don't think Hammer Brothers have ever had wings before.
That's just messing with science.
That's rewriting history. Oh my goodness. And then a new Super Mario Brothers art style, which you'll see here. And most of this stuff should look familiar to you. But I have to say, I am very surprised and kind of delighted by how some of this stuff is going to change the game. Well, wait a minute. What's this? Brendan, isn't that the robot we just saw?
That's the Mario Paint robot.
Yeah, so it was revealed during the Nintendo Direct that you're going to have a space to sort of upload and share creations. This is actually, it was revealed even before that in interviews. But this is a look at that, and you can sort of make your own Mario game. I mean, look at that. World 1, World 2, etc. You can then
entire
from there,
campaign, as it were.
Yep. You can then from there edit, play, upload it, change name, delete. If you look at the bottom, there is a bar that shows sort of the length of your stage. So you could probably see just a brief overview of the entire map that you've created, which kind of, to me, reminds me of like old magazines. You just have the fold-out map of the whole.
That takes me back.
Yeah, it takes us all back, just like a lot of what this game's about. I will say, side note for folks, over here, posted courses, 0 of 10. I don't know what they're saying there. I mean, are you only allowed 10 total for people to find online? That's a good question, right? Like, is that the limit for your Mario masterpiece, as it were? Also, want to point out to folks that the song that plays here actually has some history. So I know it from a Nintendo 64 DD game called Talent Studio that Pear and I did a Let's Play on. But Brendan, you know it from
Mario Paint.
Yeah, which the original, like the precursor to all this stuff.
And this was the save thing for the robot.
Yep. So then you upload your course and move on. And here's a little bit more of the game in action. One thing I do want to point out, though.
This looks terrifying.
A power-up! The cape, which is a Super Mario World thing, is showing up in a Super Mario World stage. But it begs the question, what's the approach here? Are the power-ups that appeared in these individual games going to be restricted to their worlds? Or are they going to do the same thing they're doing with all the characters so far?
This could set a terrifying precedent. I mean, what they've shown is that you can swap between them on the fly. And we've seen icons and creatures that didn't have art styles now gaining those art styles. Would the same be true for an 8-bit Mario with the cape? And how would they cover this dive bombing? Because that's a lot of frames.
Well, we're going to find out what this is going to look like, but I don't want to make any guesses here. But, folks, why don't you tell us what you think in the comments? I will say, if you have not played Super Mario World, the cape, easily one of the best power-ups ever, especially when you do stuff like this. So Mario Maker, coming September. And for more Nintendo coverage, make sure you keep it right here at IGN.